Your dog does not need medication. It needs training. And I know that is going to upset a lot of people. But way too many dogs are out here being medicated for problems that actually stem from a lack of guidance, structure, and clear communication. This is not the channel where you are going to hear what you want to hear all the time. This is the channel where you are going to learn exactly how to get better for your dog, to learn exactly how you can change your behavior so that your dog can live a better life. I specialize in working with dogs with behavioral problems such as anxiety, fear, reactivity, aggression, and resource guarding. And a lot of times when they come into my facility for the first time, they've already either been on medication, they are on medication, or a previous vet or trainer has told them that they need to be on medication in order to be living a good life. I was just speaking with one of my clients a few weeks ago who her dog was becoming a little bit more reactive in the house, having a couple issues with another dog in the house, and immediately she jumped to maybe he needs to be medicated. And my job is to help her through those thoughts, because that is what is kind of pushed down people's throats nowadays, especially by veterinarians. A lot of training advice online suggests that dogs need medication in order to overcome those challenges. But my job is to walk her through that and tell her exactly what actually needs to change. Because I work with dogs all the time who are struggling with behavioral problems, very severe ones at times as well, and I see them overcome those challenges without ever touching medication. Now, that doesn't mean that medication is never the solution, but it definitely shouldn't be your first option. It should not be your go-to, because most dogs actually don't need it at all. So let's talk about where sometimes my clients, as well as people in general, get this wrong. Specifically, we'll talk about 4 things your dog actually needs in order to overcome their behavioral challenge instead of medication. Point number 1, medication just treats the symptom, but not the actual cause of the problem. So let's say your dog is anxious, reactive, or aggressive. Maybe they can't settle. Maybe they're constantly overstimulated and they seem overwhelmed all the time. The solution often becomes, we have to calm this dog down. But no one's ever asking, why is the dog like this in the first place? What you actually need to do is look at your lifestyle that you live with your dog every single day. Most of the time, these dogs have way too much freedom in the house where they're always making bad decisions. They have a lack of clear communication with the owner. The owner constantly repeats their tasks to the dog all the time. The owner has inconsistent boundaries or 0 boundaries. There's no structure in the house. The dog cannot turn its mind off. That right there, that is where those behavioral problems stem from. If you start fixing those problems, you'll start seeing your dog's overall behavior start to improve as well. If your dog is reactive when they are on a walk towards other dogs or people, and you're giving them medication hoping that that solves it, you're never really changing the way that the dog feels about the other people or the other dogs when they're on their walk. You're really just trying to mask it. You're just hoping that they don't react anymore, but you're not actually addressing why they are reacting in the first place. You're not changing the way they truly feel about other dogs or other people, etc. Similarly, if your dog is anxious or if your dog has separation anxiety from when you leave, when you're giving them medication, you're just hoping that you drown out those symptoms so that you don't have to change anything about what you're doing and your dog just doesn't cry, whine, or be destructive when you leave. You're not changing that. Medication's not changing the way that your dog feels inherently about being separate, about being alone, about being independent. And that's the problem that I have with people jumping straight to medication for their dog's behavioral problems. You're really just looking for that quick fix, but you're never changing the way the dog actually feels about anything at all. Point number 2, your dog has absolutely 0 structure. Most of these dogs with behavioral issues are constantly roaming around the house all day long, barking at the windows, counter surfing, stealing items, getting into the trash. They're following their owner everywhere. They cannot leave them out of their sight all day long. These dogs are constantly being showered with attention and affection no matter what they're doing. Even if they're doing all the wrong things or they're just a nervous mess, they're constantly just being showered with affection. And almost most importantly, these dogs have 0 boundaries. They do whatever the hell they want all the time with no consequence for any bad behavior, ever. And those dogs are the ones that are being labeled as anxious. Well, that's not anxiety. That's a dog that is running around with absolutely no direction, no guidance, no leadership. It's like a chicken running around with its head cut off. It's absolutely unfair to your dog to think that you can just give them medication, not change anything about what you're doing as the owner that is creating and contributing to your dog's behavioral problem, and expect behavioral change from your dog. It's completely unfair. So how do you fix that? It's actually really simple, but it's not easy because you're gonna have to actually change the way that you live with your dog every single day. You can start implementing more crate time. You can start tethering your dog more. You can use a leash more in the house when the dog is just trailing a leash so that you can interrupt bad behavior in that moment. You can start using baby gates. There are so many different ways where you can start implementing structure to change your dog's behavior. Because at the end of the day, structure creates stability, and stability reduces anxiety. Medication is just gonna try to mask all these symptoms. It's never gonna go to the root of the cause. It's never going to address why is your dog anxious, because the things I just mentioned, that's why your dog is anxious. Your dog has no direction. Point number 3, and this one's gonna require you to take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror because you're probably avoiding accountability. You, the owner, have to be actively involved in changing your dog's behavior, because your dog's behavior is heavily influenced by what you do with them every single day. So how do you fix that? How do you take a look within? I'll tell you exactly how to do it. Ask yourself these questions. Am I consistent with my dog? Does my dog really know what I expect from him or her every single day when I use commands? Or does my dog have any idea what their daily schedule really looks like? Do I follow through with what I tell my dog to do? If I tell my dog to get off the bed, or to get off the couch, or to come in when I call them, or to sit down when I ask them, do I consistently make them do it when they don't want to do it? Furthermore, do we even have a communication style that my dog actually understands? Have we ever actually worked on that together? Because remember, dogs don't speak English. So if you're not tying direct association with your words and with your commands, your dog does not know what you are talking about. Ask yourself, do I actually have any structure or any boundaries, any guidance in my house? Does my dog know what is allowed, clearly allowed in the house that gets them rewarded or gets them more of what they want? And does my dog, very, very, very importantly, know exactly what I don't allow in my house and what's going to get them into trouble if they choose to do it anyways? Because the honest answer to those questions is you probably aren't as consistent with any of those responses as you should be. And dogs thrive on predictability. Dogs thrive on consistency. They want us to be consistent. They never look for us to be perfect, but they need us to be consistent. If you can look in the mirror and answer all of those questions and address those and get better at those, that's when you're gonna start to see real behavioral change in your dog. Point number 4, you're probably skipping the work. Dog training takes time. Behavioral change takes time. Anything good in life takes time. There is no quick fix. And that's oftentimes what medication is being sold to you as. It's the quick fix. Your dog did not become this way overnight. So your dog's not going to get better overnight either. Training takes consistency. Training takes repetitions. Training takes dedication. Training takes effort on your end. It's dog training that requires you and the dog. It's never just the dog. Compare dog training and achieving behavioral change in your dog to losing weight. If you have slacked off for the past 6 months and you gained a little bit of weight, you can't just start eating better, start eating cleaner foods, start going to the gym for 1 week and undo that damage you did in 6 months. It just doesn't happen that way. There is no quick fix to anything. If you are looking for a quick fix in anything in life, especially in dog training, you are going to get frustrated. You're gonna get disappointed, and you're probably gonna give up because it doesn't happen like this. So what do you do instead? How do you actually achieve this change? Put in the work. Don't be afraid to actually commit to the grind and do what your dog needs. Everything I talked about here is exactly what your dog needs. They don't need medication. That is a quick fix. Your dog needs daily structure. Your dog needs clear expectations of what they are allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. And your dog needs consistency and clear communication from you. That is what creates long-lasting, sustainable behavioral change. As I always say, a dog's behavior cannot change unless the human's behavior changes first. Now let me be abundantly clear. There are absolutely dogs out there that need medication in order to get better. Dogs with cognitive issues or neurological issues where medication is an absolute must in order for that dog to be able to live a healthy and successful life. But trust me, that is not the case for most dogs. That is not the case if your dog is reactive. That is not the case if your dog is anxious. That is not even the case most of the time when your dog is aggressive. Most importantly, even if you are going down that route, if you choose to medicate your dog, or even if you need to medicate your dog, it is not just medicate your dog. training is absolutely still a necessity in order for your dog to create true behavioral change. Your dog needs to be understood. Your dog needs to be recognized and honored for being a dog. When you're able to provide clear communication, structure, clear expectations, boundaries, leadership, you don't end up having to manage your dog's behavior 24/7. You don't need medication in those situations. You actually start to change your dog's behavior for the good. If your dog is struggling with any behavioral challenge, such as anxiety, fear, reactivity, aggression, or resource guarding, drop a comment. Let me see if I can help you in any way. I would love to be able to do that. As always, if you want straightforward, no bullshit advice on how to actually achieve behavioral change, this is your channel, and I hope you subscribe. I'm the Big Dog Guy, and I'll see you in the next one.